Hello and welcome to part 5 of Welcome to SilverBullet, the series of videos in which I demonstrate some of the functionality in SilverBullet that make it kind of unique. And in the previous one we talked about queries, indexing and objects, but we honestly just got started, right? We wrote this simple little query here up at the top to basically query all our quick notes in our space. That was nice. Now we're going to dive a little bit deeper because we're going to talk about how we can annotate our pages and objects and use those new custom attributes that we're going to define to write interesting queries for them. So what we're going to do is we're going to refer back to some of the notes that we created in a previous video. So we had these notes, these people notes, right? These person tagged notes for Harry and Jenny. And now I would like to expand this a little bit because I would like to create a page, a contacts page, which we're going to create in a minute, that will basically give me a nice table view of all the contacts that I have. But I don't want to just put that text in a markdown table by hand. I want SilverBullet to kind of collect this information for me from the entirety of my space, simply by analyzing the indexed values and rendering it in a nice way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use or reuse or repurpose these pages that I already have for Harry in this case, and add some additional metadata about this that is representing contact information. And the way I can do this, in the most obvious way and most standard way, is to use front matter. So I have a slash command here that injects this as a snippet. And again, this is just, markdown, not technically markdown, but it's kind of a common pattern that is used by many different tools. Obsidian also uses it. There's very blog engines that use this front matter syntax, which basically puts a couple of attributes encoded in YAML, which is yet another markup language, I think it stands for, to put additional metadata attributes on your page. So for instance, what you can add here, say, well, the role of Harry in my life is that he's in customer support. Let's say we're documenting employees, right? He's working in customer support. And his phone number is 1234567 So values in YAML, like they always have a key and they have a value. And a value can be a string and you can put quotes around that or you can put quotes around that or not. It can be numbers, it can be booleans, it can be lists, it can be, I don't know, like parents are like Fred and Mary, for instance, right? It can have deep hierarchies and all this type of thing. Like there's a bunch of stuff you can put in the YAML file. And what the indexer, SilverBullet indexer, will now do whenever this page is saved, which is constantly, right, is update this index and attach this particular attribute, so role, phone, and parents, to the Harry object. How can we tell? So let's create a quick note here and query for this, right? So if I now write a query where I query all the persons, because I think this was the name of the tag that we created, right? Indeed. And actually this is going to be my contacts database. So let me just call that contacts. And immediately I see, okay, so now I queried all the objects in my space tagged with person. And now you understand probably why this is called a tag, right? Because I attached a tag to a particular page. So now we're querying all the persons in my space, and it will just list by default all the attributes. And there's a lot, we looked at them before. We don't care about all of them. Like we care about name, and we care about role, and we care about phone number. And you will see that in this table, indeed, those things have values now. For Harry, because we only set them for Harry. We also have values for parents. Honestly, I don't really want to see that in my contacts database. So let's tweak the query a little bit to just limit the results that we get to just those fields that I would like to see. So we care about the name, we care about the role, and we care about the phone number. Now, sometimes you will notice me writing just simply name, role, and phone. Sometimes I'll write _dot. You can do both. Like the way these queries are written is that by default, the object is bound to a variable named underscore. And then what you do is you write underscore dot and then the attribute name. There's a shortcut for that, which is to leave out underscore dot, but I kind of like it to be explicit. So what you will see right now is that you basically end up with a table with just 3 columns. So the name column, the role column, and the phone column. And these will just copy those values, right? There you go. So now we see that we have a role for Harry and a phone number for Harry. We don't have this for Jenny yet, so we can actually add that. Let me go to Jenny page, add front matter there. Role is marketing, phone is a weird number. And now we go back to my contacts page, and now you'll see this has been updated there as well. Of course, now what you could already imagine doing is saying, hey, what I actually want to do is just have different sections for different departments. Like you can create a customer support department section in my contacts list, which just filters down this list to just, I don't know, customer support, people with the customer support role, right? Like the possibilities are endless here, as you can probably imagine. One tweak I would like to make here is that although this table looks very nice, I cannot actually use it for navigation. I want to kind of like be able to go to Jenny and Harry, right? So that's a tweak I'm going to make. And it's kind of hacky, but it works. What I'm going to do is not just copy in plainly the name of that page here in the name column. I'm going to put double square brackets around it in the output. And dot dot is the Lua way of doing string concatenation. So basically what I'm saying is like, hey, the name in each of those rows shouldn't just be name. It should be square bracket, name, square bracket, close, which renders as a page link, because that's the syntax for page links. So now what you get is that each of these is now turned into a page link, and now I can just click on them and navigate there, right? And there you go. We created a contact list. Okay, so using front matter is one way of attaching additional metadata to pages. There are more ways of doing this. For instance, you can use the attribute syntax, and the attribute syntax, usually you don't use them for pages, you use them for other items, other things, other objects. But let me demonstrate this for you. So let me create a quick note. You can actually apply this to pages as well. So you can say my attribute equals something. So this is similar to front matter, and that's also why it looks a little bit like it has the same color background. What you do here is you say, well, you know, I create an attribute and it has the value 10. How can I tell this is working? Let me just query that just in place, right? Right, so here I wrote a query to find me all the pages where my attribute has any value, which is obviously just one, which is this particular page. And then if you scroll into that table, you'll see that indeed my attribute has the value 10. So this works. Like usually you would use front matter to do this attaching of attributes, but you can use this as well. You can put multiple of these in here. That will also have a similar effect. Let me see if that actually worked. It should. Yes, so now we have my attribute and my attribute too. This is, I would say, like a less convenient way of adding attributes to a page, but you can do that. This attribute syntax is more common to be applied to other type of objects, specifically items. So you can do this, right? You can say, hey, I have an item here, like a bullet list item, but I would like to attach custom attributes to that item. So now if I query not page, but item, this is what you get, right? So now I'm querying all the items in my space. And I don't know, actually, like, are there a lot? There's a bunch. So, but then only show the ones that has a my attribute. Usually what you may actually want to do is to say, well, you know, custom tag. And then I can say custom tag. And you can use that to filter, right? So effectively what you're doing here is you're creating a custom tag object, and attaching certain attributes to it, like my attribute too. And then you're querying that. Okay. You can do this with items, you can do this with paragraphs, you can do this, I think, even with headers. A much more common use case is actually to do this to tasks. So let me show you how that works. So let's turn this into a task. And you're going to say, well, clean the floors, do the dishes. And then I'm going to put an attribute there, which is the due date. And that's tomorrow. And this is a due date yesterday, right? And now what I can do here is I can query all my tasks. And I have 2 in my space, so that's a limited set, so I don't have to filter it down more. And now you will see, okay, we have all these objects called clean the floors, do the dishes. Because this is a task object, it has some interesting attributes like done. So is this task done or not? And you'll see that if I update this and then reload this table here, you'll see now this has been updated. So now it's true. You can see that the task appeared on a particular page. You can see what the state is, which is this X. And also the due date, which is the custom attribute that we added here. Which means that, for instance, you could write a query that says like, hey, give me all the tasks that have a due date of today or in the past 7 days and things like that. Or give me all the tasks that are not already done. So I can say where not done. This also like immediately filters it down to just cleaning the floors because do the dishes has already been completed before. Now, obviously, you generally don't want to look at tasks in a table format. That's not really nice. So for this, we can use the templating mechanism again that we used last time. So we can do template.each and then use the template called templates.taskItem. And that will nicely render the results as a task. Now, what may appear a little bit strange to you the first time you're looking at a task item is like, okay, you recognize this, right? Clean the floors. It doesn't actually show the due date, but that's okay. But what is this, right? What is this about? Well, this is one of those refs. This is a kind of a unique identifier of this particular task, which enables this particular feature, which is extremely useful, which is that if you tick this box, it will automatically go out. And in this particular case, it's in the same page, but it may be anywhere, right? And we're going to do that in a second. And it will automatically update that reference there as well. So it will keep these 2 things in sync, which is kind of nice. So let me actually put this query into tasks. I'm going to create a tasks page with this query in there, which is always going to list all the tasks in my space that I have not completed yet. And as I said, like if I now complete it here, and I update this list, like now it's gone basically, right? If I go back to the place where I defined that and I untick these boxes and I go back to my tasks list, now I will see that those tasks are back. So now I basically started to build a basic task manager already. I can now, as I said, I can put due dates on them. I can put priorities on them. Like this, I could put any type of attributes on all these tasks and use these queries to start filtering them. I can create subsections here that say like, these are all my tasks that I haven't completed with a certain due date. I can add tasks that are of a certain priority. I can probably order them by priority in some way, right? Like the sky is the limit, right? And I think this is kind of showing the potential of this whole indexing and querying mechanism in SilverBullet. You have to find use cases for this. You have to think about like, hey, you need a problem to solve, right? But you can do this very flexibly, right? You can put annotations. You can put front matter on pages. You can put annotations on items, on lists, on paragraphs. And then you can write queries that are quite advanced to create these overview pages for you. So again, like I can now just link here, like my homepage may now become my kind of like homepage. So this is where I always go. And then I say, okay, now I'm going to my contacts list. And this is where I see all my contacts. And this is my task list. These are all my tasks. I can combine this with transclusions. So transclusions kind of inject the content of those pages locally. And now all of a sudden my front page is both a contact list and a to-do list. Of course, I probably want to put sections here, so you can say like to-do and contacts or whatever, right? To make it look a little bit prettier. But again, sky's the limit. Like, you are only limited by your imagination when it comes to this stuff. So yeah, I think that's enough for this 5th video. See you on the next one.